So I just did a 45-minute video to find him to shut off at 1 minute and 40 seconds, which is really shitty because it was a really, really strong message, and it was something that I sat here this morning with my breakfast. I had a protein bar for breakfast and smoked my morning doobie. Next thing you know, I had 45-minute ramble here that I actually had hit the button while I was, instead of me just talking to God, I actually decided it was going to be me, you, while I talked to him, or whatever, I guess. I don't know. I just was conscious of the fact I wanted to push the record button before I got going any farther. It just started out so good, whatever. I'm going to try to relive it again. I don't know if I can do it the same justice, same way. But the message, it's clear, I guess. I was talking about vibrations and frequencies and how everything ties into each other. The plants, the animals, the planet, all of it ties in together. So, with that said, it hit me that what this really is, this is a chance. This is another chance. No matter how many chances God has given us as a people, we haven't been able to get it right. We've gone farther and farther away from His Word every day to where we're almost living Sodom and Gomorrah at this point. And maybe it is Sodom and Gomorrah all over again. I don't know. But here's the thing, is He's given us a chance to try to fix it. And I think that frequency is a huge, huge, huge part of it. I realized that Adam and Eve were, if you're a Christian or if you know anything about the Bible, I don't know the Quran, so I can't tell you what any of that shit says. I just don't know. I believe there's power in the Word. I don't know what the Quran says, what it doesn't say, so I'm not going to speak on it. But I'm going to tell you this. I believe Adam and Eve are just two of the souls that He's put back here, okay? I'm sure there's a Noah and a Matthew and a Mark and a Luke and a John. All of them. They're all here. They're all here. And together, we are going to stir the emotions and the beliefs of everyone on this planet. And we're going to get this planet back to where God intended it, okay? He gave us a perfect world. He gave us a world where one thing feeds the other. And if everything's popping on all 8 cylinders, wow, okay? And from that day forward, we have used our free will and lack of dusting off that Bible and walking it. Even the ones that are talking it need to be walking it. All right? And until that happens, it's the end of days. You know what I mean? We're either going to succeed or He's going to shut it down. And I tell you, let me say this again, I don't bet against me. And I'm not going to bet against us. Because you and me, we're the same. We're built the same fucking way. We need to think. We need to resonate. We need to get our frequency back. All right, so everything from you having a bad day, get up one morning, it's cold and snowy out, you gotta go out and clean the car off, it's just brutal. Start your day off kind of shitty, right? Well, it lowers your vibration, your frequency, whatever. And then you get to work and somebody's an asshole and you roll your eyes and that lowers your frequency. And then who knows what happens. Maybe you have a good lunch, brings it back up a little bit. But to get to that maximum, optimum thing, it's tough, man. And it goes from beating yourself right, from all of the things that we need to do to keep ourselves well. But this is our chance. He sent all the souls back from the Bible. reconstituted in a modern world. And they're all here. And they all been put here to see if we can get it right this time. You know? And I truly believe we're gonna. If for no other reason than God doesn't make mistakes. Right? That's the answer at the end of it all. At the end of it all, God doesn't make mistakes. He didn't do all this fucking work, make a planet spin like it does, the sun come up and go down, beautiful sunrises and sunsets, things that we get to see every day. Whether you live in Yellowstone or the beaches of Florida or wherever the fuck you live, it doesn't matter. You know, we all get a sun, and we all get night. We all get stars in the sky. And maybe not tonight, but tomorrow night. Full moons. All of these things, they are gifts from God. He doesn't make mistakes, man. You know, the mistakes are ours. And he's given us one more chance to fix them. I realized in looking at my own bullshit, how many chances did he give me to fix it on my own? How many times did I walk into that fucking AA room? Or did I spend months in a fucking group or rehab just to get my drugs? You know, all the while knowing it would take me someday to a place that was better than where I was at now. You know, even with the drugs that they were giving me, you know, I knew that this would help me to get to a place where I wouldn't need those drugs. And, you know, I don't think it's the answer now, but I do know that it doesn't hurt, even if it just connects you to God in some little way. That in itself, you know, I really encourage you guys to really, if you got problems like I got, get your ass to a meeting. And if you don't fit there, find another one. Listen, there's a group for you. You know, and you're not probably gonna like everybody. We're addicts, we're people. It's tough. But on the other side of that, those people will care for you, especially if they see you're caring for yourself. They'll teach you how to care for yourself. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing, we give up on ourselves. It hurts so bad we just want to give up and die. And some of us do. Last I heard 700,000 a year or something fucking crazy, which I don't doubt at all by the state of the way they got things are on these fucking streets and the state of the way they're paying their old people. They're fucking disabled. It's insane. They're not taking care of fucking anybody but themselves. I'm so sick. I want to go back to work so bad, but I don't want to pay them another $1 in taxes. Not a fucking dollar. You know what I mean? So if I gotta suffer out here on these fucking streets, I think maybe that's what I'll do. Fuck them. I don't want to pay them any more fucking taxes. I can't even get them to give me a place to charge my fucking phone and put my head at night. Instead, they want to pay people and incentivize them and then make rules that are against the Constitution just to make my life miserable so that I go somewhere else, right? And then somewhere else has those laws. So where do you go when you're in that spot? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. I've met people that were 6 years, 8 years, 10 years on the street. Lots of them. Some absolutely mentally ill from 10 years on the fucking street. Because if you're not mentally ill when life breaks you down like that, you will be after 10 fucking years out here with the fucking trash you're going to find and the abuse you're going to receive. You will be a sick son of a bitch, I can assure you. I can assure you. I pray. I think I've done better in prison than I'm doing on these streets. I can't bathe myself. I can't, and I'm in Phoenix. There's no fucking water here. You kidding me? Get from one side of town to the other to get at lunch is hard. How the fuck am I going to find water? Fucking forget it. And then get in it and not get fucking arrested for bathing in some fucking river somewhere. It's just crazy, man. These are God-given things put there so we can bathe. He put rivers on the fucking earth so we can clean ourselves and clean our clothes and all the things that, and to consume the water. Like, it's just... I don't know, and you know, you judges and shit that are putting these laws in, you know, I find it hard to believe that you even think that you're doing the right thing. You know, on one hand, I can see how you think you're cleaning up the streets and getting people off your corner. I can understand that because some of them aren't good people and the rest of them aren't going to be good people if you leave them out there long enough. Or odds are good. They're going to at some point see and learn because we are learning beings. And they're going to see who's doing good and how they're doing good. And they're going to see who's struggling, who's playing by the rules. So if you leave the rules set like they are against them, and you can't follow the rules and come up, what are people going to do? They're going to get desperate, and they're going to see and learn a dangerous thing for all of us, a thing that's going to just kill society. You know, I've almost come to the conclusion that everything in this world that man has done has been a trick by the devil. You know, from the layouts of the roads, like, it's crazy some of the stuff I'm seeing. The way the trains are designed, like the internet. You know, I'm starting to question that, and I haven't gotten a clear answer. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I can just talk to the sky and it comes back to me. But I think maybe it sometimes is kind of like that. But I don't, you know, it's just bizarre. It's fucking bizarre. I can't wait till you know exactly what I'm talking about, because when you guys start doing what I've been doing, it's gonna happen for all of us. You're gonna be able to look up at that fucking sky and see that pretty blue and realize it's gonna hit you, and it's just gonna hit your mind and come out your mouth. I look at Freya. Freya's like as good as I've ever seen, and I just hope I can get as good as she is. She fucking bang, and it comes out, and she can talk to that fucking phone for 2 days, and every word out of her mouth is coming from a higher place than her mind. And I see it in her, and I hear it in her, and I know it. And, you know, and I believe I have every bit of that power, and probably more. I just haven't figured out how to harness it like she has. You know, I think I still got stumbles to make, and, you know, whatever. Again, we're learners. You know, he teaches us by making us fuck up, or letting us fuck up, not making us fuck up. He made it so we can fuck up, and that's all we've done, is fuck up, and we continue to do it. But I also believe that what I'm telling you is that, you know, I said Pangea is coming back. I believe that. I believe we're going to see a Garden of Eden again. I think it's just going to pop up. We're going to figure out who Adam and Eve are today. And, you know, we're going to meet Noah and Moses and Jesus and all the people in the Bible. You know, and their names aren't going to be Noah and Jesus, but they're going to have books in the new Bible for the new world. And our job is to fix the world that God made. And we do that by fixing ourselves first. And not just America, though, but the whole world. But America is the catalyst. We're here, or I'm here, I know that. And I'm betting you that I got a whole team of people here. I've kind of known that, and I know that they're going to be musicians. I know that's going to be our thing, and we're going to kick ass. And you are going to kick ass. And we're all going to kick ass. And instead of these fucking scumbags who are stacking pies in the closet, we're going to make more pies. So everybody's got a stack of them. Every motherfucker, even the homeless ones on the street, right? Many as you can carry. That's how we're going to live. That's how he intended it. For us to thrive. All of us. Not one over another. It's not what he would have intended. How, we got to kind of like look at things for what we know them to be. At this point, we've had 2,000 years to understand it. God didn't make shit that it wasn't right. Nothing. And that includes us. But he did make the ability for us to screw it up. But as many chances as he's given us as a people, and all the bullshit that they've said and used, all their green bullshit, whatever. All we ever had to do is go back to the old way of life, the way he intended it to be, and follow his word in the Bible. Those stories are there for us so that we can equate your life to another's, or an act, or a whatever, maybe a feeling or an emotion. But our emotions are so tied into this. Like, that's one of the hardest things that I've got, is I carry baggage like you can't even imagine, man. Eventually I'll get to a place where I can sit down and write my story. And I will write it with vigor and honesty this time. I thought the other day that maybe that first book, I said this a long time ago, that's not the book I'm supposed to write. Maybe that's the wicked book, right? Maybe that's all of the things that this world did to a perfect soul, or a pure soul. Let's say that. I don't want to say perfect, pure soul. All of the things those were influences that I allowed in to my soul to mold me into who I was. And some of those things were pieces from cell rooms in jail cells. Others were a story in a bar, or a story as we're getting high somewhere. Like, they were pieces of me. And, while I thought I was still this good guy, I really did. I thought, man, I don't hurt people, I don't do this, I don't do that. And there was a time when I damn sure could. But it was distasteful. To me, it was distasteful. I didn't like it. It wasn't good for me. Yes, there was some emotion, some adrenaline, all that shit. But at the end of the day, it wasn't worth the cost. And I think there was that pure soul that I'm talking about. Because it wasn't, but so many of these other things, like, I don't know. All right, well, this is my second try, and 20 minutes in now, it looks like, or just under, and I guess I'm just gonna cut it off and see what happens later. But I hope some of this makes sense to you, because it makes sense to me in a big, big way. And I know there's a higher purpose for him putting me through what I've been through here lately. It's way higher. I had to be. I've always been stubborn, so he always has to break me up pretty good to get me to do what he wants me to do. But even in my knowing now, in my awakening, I still struggle to do all of the things that I think are right. And then I struggle with the courage, as in, like, the taxes. It would be so much easier if I would just go get a fucking Social Security card. And even if it took a week or two and I had to mail it somewhere that I don't want to mail it to just anybody, if I had to wait and figure it out, it would still be a better option than what I'm living right now. And that's not going to solve nothing. I need to stand my ground and not pay the taxes, especially if I'm going to ask you to do the same. you know, because I don't know if we can even modify what's going on if we don't start there. We got to hit them in the wallet and then go from there. Because honestly, I want to see it happen without a shot being fired. You know, I know that we're gonna win because we're gonna do what God wants us to, and we can't lose. He won't let it. He won't let it. He'll give us exactly what we need to beat the fucking shit out of him. That's what we gotta do. But I still hope, you know, they talk about the shot heard around the world. How about the one that's never heard? Let's find the one that's never heard. That shot be the one that fixes our government. Let's set that precedent. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.